Snow Battle All Random Ultra Rapid Fire, or Arurf, is now out for pretty much the next 2 weeks. I think it ends on January 2nd or something of the new year. And let's just get into it. So, what do you need to know? Well, first off, it's Ultra Rapid Fire, so right, all of your cooldowns and mana and stuff all reduced. Your standard Ultra Rapid Fire, I'll flash up the buff on the screen that they give you right now. Let you guys read that. So it's like it's Ultra Rapid Fire. Really, there's not much to say about that. And if you don't know, just get into a game and you'll figure it out pretty quickly. And it's all random. So I'm pretty sure that what they do is they're unlocking the entire champion pool, and you get a random champion from that. You do get 2 rerolls, and I'm assuming that they're doing the ARAM style kind of reroll system where you get however many champions there are in the game divided by 250, and you get that many points, and once you hit 250 you get another reroll. So that's kind of nice that they at least give you a reroll or 2, so if you get like a kind of uselessy champion, or a champion that doesn't really benefit from this 80% cast time reduction, like a lot of AD carries don't benefit too much just because their damage they need to be shooting things constantly, and the attack speed cap is still in effect, so they just get blown up usually before they can do too much. So if you have an 80 carry, maybe reroll, but what you're really aiming for is high damage and champions that are either like super slippery, like an Ezreal who can be like jumping around shooting his Qs everywhere and you're not able to catch him, or you're looking for hard CC and high damage. So, like an Annie or a Malphite, someone who's able to flash or jump on your face and just delete you instantly. That's what you're really looking for. So, also going into this, some of the nice things that they did is for rune pages, anything with stacking mechanics works super well because these are typically high kill games, and some runes that don't make any sense and will have absolutely no effect in this game mode, like let's say mana flow banned, because, well, right, all of the mana flow costs are eliminated. They switch it up and replace it with something, nullifying orb. It's not that great, but at least it switches it up with something that is actually going to have an effect. But honestly, runes don't really matter all that much. Anything that, like, the 3 attack, like the lightning one, that's pretty good just because, like, you're going to be hitting them with abilities very frequently because your cooldowns are reduced by 80%. So, that being said, the other thing to note is that the summoner spells are locked. So you can only have Flash, which, right, Flash is kind of standard across all game modes now, and you can only have Mark. Now, Mark and the Ultra Rapid Fire version of it, you can shoot it halfway across the map, which is kind of fun to shoot it and use it to get to lane or to get to like red or blue buff super quickly. But it's more of a getting to lane tool for a lot of champions that don't really want to be in close and on your face. And for certain champions that do want to be in close and on your face, like an Amumu or like right those Annie and Malphite, it's really good on them. And then the other thing to note is that, right, since they're locked, you don't have an exhaust for if a champion's getting really out of hand. Like, let's say there's a Twitch on the enemy team and you just can't get to him because he's going invis constantly and then, like, popping up and taking shots at you. You can't exhaust him. So you don't have a lot of those counterplay elements. But we'll get to that a bit later. So in terms of actual gameplay, you're usually going to be going your 2 top, 1 mid, 2 bot. There is no real jungler because, 1, you don't have smite, even though a lot of champions don't need it because of their abilities. But what I've found is that team play in general is pretty minimized in this game mode. So, for instance, a lot of times people aren't grouping to like push objectives to take like a dragon or a baron, which dragon and baron are super easy to sneak because it's really hard to say and evaluate like champion power level when all of their abilities are reduced by an absurd amount. And yeah, these games usually have a high kill count, and really, if you want to win a couple more games, then you probably should just group with your team, honestly. Because people just don't group up. It's super easy to get a catch on someone with Flash and Mark So just group up, run right down mid, honestly. So that's pretty much it in terms of a nutshell. Overall, how is the game mode and like what are my kind of thoughts on it? Honestly, it's pretty garbage. It's not great. There is no way that it's going to retain a player base for the 2 weeks that it's up. So what it really boils down to is that it just doesn't feel good because it's random to a certain degree. So if your team just gets shafted by not getting in the proper champs, or the enemy team gets like some champ that's like completely broken and they just take over the game, and then since they're doing so well, like right, they get more lane pressure so they can farm better, and then all of the rest of their team gets fed, and it's not like you have an exhaust or anything to really deal with them. So it just doesn't feel great. Plus there's no bans, so it's not like you can ban out and say like, okay, we want to play this game, but we don't want like Hecarim to be just using his like helicopter all over the place, or we don't want an Annie just bursting our faces off, or Vigar getting like 1500 AP and just pressing R and killing us. So that's kind of shitty. But yeah, it's just really, it's incredibly snowbally, and once you've played it a couple of times and kind of gotten a little of some of the jitters and like, right, some of the excitement out, it really just, it isn't that great. Like, it's, okay, it's fun to, in theory, to be running around as like a gangplank, being able to shoot your Q off every like 2 seconds and like doing crazy damage, or being like attack speed Braum and just applying like permanent stuns on people. But if the enemy team has like any hard CC, like if you're against an Lulu and she's able to polymorph you, you'll be just like perpetually polymorphed. Or another example is Rammus. If Rammus taunts you, his taunt cooldown is less than the duration of his taunt, so you'll just be perma-taunted until you die if he has like high enough ping, or low enough ping, and he can like keep it up on you without any latency. So yeah, it doesn't feel great. Definitely, I would have preferred if there was bans. I'd prefer if it was like Nemesis Earth, or the other team drafted for you, or if it was just like plain old ultra rapid fire. Like, okay, let everyone pick the broken Ezreals and like Lucians and whatever, but at least give it to both teams, as opposed to this where it's like, okay, I don't get to choose my champ, I don't get to choose my summoner spells. It's just not great. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that, and a bit of a guide. I mean, there's really not much to say, it just really depends on your champion. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, someone found some enjoyment or insight out of this, and as always, see you guys next time. See you guys in game.